A wonderful little mushroom, especially when mushrooms are scarce during June. It's a little crown coral mushroom soup. And I like these mushrooms. If you haven't picked them before, I know most of the people in the Midwest that hunt wild mushrooms will know these, and a lot of people will just pass them by, but they're a really good soup mushroom. So these are only going to grow from decaying hardwood logs that you'll see on the ground. They're never going to grow from a tree that's vertical. It could be stumps. What I do there, if I see a really nice one, maybe I'll cut it, including like a tiny bit of the wood to keep its shape. But there's really no wrong way to harvest these unless you're like ripping them out and they're breaking into pieces. A lot of times, like you can see there, I can just give the mushroom a little twist and they'll just pop right off the log. One of the nice things is that these are usually very easy to clean. But I'll pick a few other ones here. So you can see most of the time I can just pop them right off. The only thing to keep in mind is that you want to keep the mushrooms whole in small clusters. You don't want them to break apart into little smithereens. Now I'll bring them home, and sometimes I'll need to clean these with some water. These, as you will see, were very, very clean, and I didn't even need to use the water that I had there. So I'll just take the mushrooms, and I'm going to trim off the little piece of the stem because I want these in about bite-sized clusters. And I'm going to inspect all of them for dirt. That's me checking them out there. And just cut off the little brown piece of stem that may have like little pieces of wood attached to it. Just make sure that they look perfect and pristine and that they look like food and something you would want to eat. As they get a little bit older, they might get some rust color on the tips. That's totally fine. Not going to hurt you at all. Ideally, they will be nice and pure white, but again, you can see I'm just trimming small pieces off the base to make sure there's no wood on them, trying to keep them in as large of pieces as possible. Very, very easy here, especially when they're so clean that you don't need to wash them. Now to make a little very simple soup. I make this with so many different types of mushrooms based on an old family recipe of one of my friends that we called Japanese noodle bowl. So you take some stock, sometimes I'll use mushroom stock, sometimes I'll use chicken stock, and we're just going to add some vegetables, and that's actually a soy sauce that I infuse with dried mushrooms. Really, really good. You can use regular soy sauce. I'm also going to add a good slice of ginger to this, a little piece of ginger there. And this is a really small batch. I have the larger version is on my website. They're just going to bring it up to a simmer. And you can't really overcook everything here. You just put it into a pot and bring it up to a simmer. Cook it until the vegetables are tender and taste good to you. You can add some, chili oil or whatever you want on top. Really, really simple. I really like it with soba noodles. So that is what I'm going to add. But you're just going to cook that until everything tastes good. All the vegetables are tender. And it's basically like ramen. And you could use ramen noodles here too, would be just fine. When it tastes good to you, then all we got to do is put it into a bowl. I'll add some cilantro. I'll refresh the soba noodles there, and I toss those with a little sesame oil. Take your noodles out, or just dump it into a bowl, whatever you want. I put some Dame's Rocket flowers on it, but these are really good mushrooms for any kind of soup, any broth. There's one with rabbit broth and hominy, really good. I hope I've inspired you to maybe think differently about the crown tip coral mushroom. If you make some soup, let me know. Thanks for watching.